Hey guys, Ravedge here, and today's vid is going to be the third installment of my upgraded Intro to Windwalker Monk PvP guides. In this vid, I'm going to be covering offensive spells, cooldowns, usage, priority, managing your chi and energy better, and overall just increasing your offensive gameplay. So that being said, I'm going to say sit back, relax, and enjoy the vid. Alright guys, now as I said at the beginning, I'm going to go ahead and cover everything offensive. The first thing I want to talk about right off the bat though is the actual resource bar, or how a monk does its damage. If you notice that once you make your monk, you have energy and chi. That's a little bit different than most other classes. Most just have the one to worry about. It might seem a little complex at first, but it's really not that bad. First thing you should know is energy is often used to gain chi, and then your chi is used to do your main damaging spells. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that energy costing spells do not do damage. There are energy costing spells that do damage, but overall your hardest hitting spells and most used damaging spells cost chi. Now, if I want to gain chi, there are certain spells I'm going to use. What I'm going to do at this point is just cover every offensive spell, show what energy source it is, and how it works, or how I use it to my benefit the most. So right off the bat, I'm going to go ahead and actually build up a couple chi because I don't want to lose my Tiger Eye Brew. There we go. Okay. The first spell we'll talk about though is Jab. Jab is a 40 energy instant cast where you jab the target, dealing 8,848 to 12,932 damage and generating 2 chi. This is our bread and butter spam ability to build chi. I can build up 5 chi in 1 energy bar because it replenishes quick enough. So I'm going to show what that would look like. 2 and 3. And right there I have full chi. Now I could do right now a Rising Sun kick into Fist of Fury, which if you know those spells, they hit really hard. But I'll get to that point. The next spell I'm going to talk about is Tiger Palm. Tiger Palm is an instant cast, costs 1 chi, and attack the target with the palm of your hand, dealing 18,000 to 26,000 damage. Also grants you Tiger Power, causing your attacks to ignore 30% of the enemy's armor for 20 seconds. This spell is often overlooked, but should be kept up at all times. The simple matter of the fact is, for 1 chi, I am now ignoring 30% of the person's armor. So you're just going to overall hit harder. This is a spell you want to keep up because it's relatively not that hard to keep up because it has a low chi cost. And now, with 5.2 change, all Windwalkers have a new passive called Combo Breaker. You have a 12% chance when you jab to cause your next Tiger Palm or Blackout Kick to cost no chi within 15 seconds. So you have to pay attention which one's which, and it will be a blue bar on our sides, and I'll try and tell you right now which one's exactly. Okay, right here, as you see, I have no chi cost on Blackout Kick, and you see how it's highlighted, so I could go ahead and Blackout Kick. It didn't cost any chi. Now if it was on the left side of my body, that will actually mean I have no chi cost for my Tiger Palm. Well, hopefully I can get something. Come on, proc for me, please. See right there, I got another Blackout Kick one. Alright, there we go. See right there, Combo Breaker, Tiger Palm. Your next Tiger Palm costs no chi. So if I go Tiger Palm, no chi cost, and now I have the buff. So that's one spell, Tiger Palm. Keep it up as much as you can. I've noticed I let it drop off a couple times, especially when I'm watching some of my clips before I make a video, and then I take note, I need to keep that up more, and that's why I use this debuff filter add-on so I can keep better track of it. Alright, the next spell I'm going to talk about is Blackout Kick. Blackout Kick is a 2 chi cost instant that kicks with a blast of chi energy, dealing 37,000 to 57,000 physical damage. If behind the target, you deal an additional 20% damage over 4 seconds, and if in front of the target, you are instantly healed for 20% of the damage. Now, if you remember in my vid that was covering glyphs, there is a glyph of Blackout Kick that will guarantee you always do the 20% damage, which I highly recommended. However, recently I have looked at not using it just to see how much the heal actually goes for, and I'm not sold as to what's better than the other, but for me the simple fact is I do like to have the extra healing, especially for more one-on-one situations, you know, BGs or whatnot. but I feel that either could be a very, very fair choice. I've seen a lot of monks use it and a lot of monks not use this glyph. So it is 100% down to your preference. I'll let you guys decide. Right now I'm testing without it, and I gotta say I'm on the fence. So tell me in the comments below what you guys think. Should I use Glyph of Blackout Kick or should I not? So, however, what I was trying to highlight with that point is, though, that the Glyph of Blackout Kick would make it so you do not have to worry about position for the extra damage. You will always get it. Alright, the next one we'll talk about is Rising Sun Kick, which looks like that. Rising Sun Kick is a 2 chi cost, and you kick upwards, dealing 84,000 to 120,000 damage and applying mortal wounds to the target. Also, causes all targets within 8 yards to take an increased 10% damage from your abilities for 15 seconds. The mortal wound debuff is it grievously wounds the targets, reducing the effectiveness of any healing received for 10 seconds. This is a spell keep on cooldown. When I have 2 chi and I'm about to start hitting someone, I am spamming my Rising Sun Kick because it hits so hard. Puts up a healing debuff and a damage increasing debuff. You want that Rising Sun Kick debuff up at all times because you're going to just do overall more damage. Your Fist of Fury will hit harder, your Blackout Kicks will hit harder, and if you notice, the debuff lasts longer than the cooldown Rising Sun Kick, meaning my second Rising Sun Kick could do more damage. So let's just see. It's up again. Boom. 95k. That's a lot of damage. So Rising Sun Kick, keep it on cooldown at all costs every single time you can. The next offensive spell that I'm going to talk about is Flying Serpent Kick, which is instant 25-second cooldown, soar through the air forward at an increased speed. While traveling, using Flying Serpent Kick again to land yourself, dealing 14,000 damage to all enemies within 8 yards and slowing them by 70% for 4 seconds. This is my favorite opener because of the simple fact that it's such a strong snare that you're able to then stick to the target pretty well. However, this is a spell that does take a little getting used to because you have to know when to detonate it and just land the spell. So say I'm over here and I want to hit the target dummy right on, I have to hit it at the opportune moment because if I hit it too early, I won't apply the snare. If I hit it too late, I'll go right past him. So, as you saw, that actually detonated and hit that one as well. So it goes ahead and puts the debuff on them and slows them. This is a spell I often use for my openers because of the simple fact that I will move very quickly past other people compared to a roll. The simple fact of the matter is, if you go ahead and Flying Serpent Kick towards someone, and let's say Skull is who I'm going to go after, and I'll say that this guy, let's mark him triangle, that is him to blink over there. I'll show you how you can stick to the target easily. Flying Serpent Kick, oh, he blinked, roll. Right on him, no problem. So that's why I tend to like to use those in those order, and I still have one more roll charge, and everything is recharging its cooldown. So that's Flying Serpent Kick. It's a great spell. Mess around with it, practice, get used to it. Get used to knowing how far you'll really go, because it does go a good distance before it'll just end on its own. Let's see how far it can go for me right now. Look how far I just went. I went from just beyond both those target dummies over there all the way to over here, almost all the way out in the open in Ironforge. So that is a spell that will really gain some distance for you. Look how long it takes me to run that distance. Pretty long. So yeah, mess around with that spell and have fun with it. The next one we'll talk about is Crackling Jade Lightning. It's a 20 energy per second channeled spell, 40-yard range. And the spell readout is, channels Jade Lightning at the target, causing 69,000 damage over 5.45 seconds when dealing damage. You have a 30% chance to generate 1 chi. If the enemy attacks you within melee range while victim to Crackling Jade Lightning, they are knocked back a short distance. This effect has an 8-second cooldown. Okay, that's a lot to read. I'm going to break it down for you slowly. This number 1 has a very long range, and I often use this to open up an arena on people to get in combat because it has such a long range. I could actually use a spell. Yes, I'm about to backpedal, but it's just so I move slowly. All the way to here. Look how far that is. That's ridiculous. And it's building chi. See how it just gave me 1 chi? Actually 2 chi now. And you can just keep channeling it over and over. So notice how it slowly is depleting my energy, though. So this will you in a sense of energy, but at the same time, it does give you chi. This is a great spell. I love using it for just opening up on people to get in combat, but overall, this is not one of your main, oh, I'm just going to start doing damage with this. The simple fact that matters, we do more damage up close, but this helps for us being able to poke at someone. No, let's not lose those stacks. Ooh, kept them up. All right. So, Crackling Jade Lightning, also that kickback where someone is near you, they have to actually physically hit you. This is great against warriors, rogues, enhancement shamans, stuff like that, especially in places where you can knock them off the edge. I have knocked people off of in BGs. One of them was actually Lumbermill. There was a rogue that was right at the edge. I went ahead and Crackling Jade Lightning him. He hit me and he got knocked back right off the edge. So I don't think he died, but still, I got him away from the base. So, Crackling Jade Lightning, awesome spell. You'll see how I use it in my vids, and then figure out what you like to do with it yourself. If I'm often rooted by a mage and know I can't get out of it, and say, hey, I don't have any chi to use, I'm going to go ahead and just start Crackling Jade Lightning you. You know, it does do some damage, as you see right here. Not a lot, but it does help, and it does build chi. It's completely RNG how much chi you get, but sometimes I will get a full chi bar in like 2 Crackling Jade Lightnings, which is awesome. So, great spell. Alright guys, the next spell we'll be talking about is Fist of Fury. Fist of Fury is a 3 chi cost channeled spell on melee range and 25-second cooldown. Spell readout is pummels all targets in front of you with rapid hand strikes, stunning them and dealing 35,000 to 54,000 damage immediately and every second for 4 seconds. Damage is spread evenly over all targets. Now this is another spell with a mouthful, but I'm going to go ahead and show you what the spell looks like first. Kind of cool animation. As you see, it's hitting for around 41,600 each. The second part of the spell readout was it evenly spreads the damage amongst all targets. What this means is Fist of Fury actually hits in a cone in front of you. If this is to hit more than one target, instead of doing 41,600 damage, it will split that damage to however many targets there is. So if there's 2 targets, it'll cut it in half. If there's 3 targets, it'll split it to 1/3 each. So this is a spell that when you have multiple targets, yeah, you can do a lot of damage to a number of targets, but the more damage output, the less targets there is. Meaning, if you want max damage output on one person, make sure you're only hitting that one person. I'm going to go ahead and show what the damage would look like if I was hitting more than one target. As you see right now, it's 21,000 damage with 43k crits. That is, as you saw, half the damage that was doing before. Now, if there was a third target, it obviously would be doing 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So that's how the damage split happens. But the next thing I want to show is the actual cone and how you can actually aim this spell. Now, once you are channeling the spell, you cannot like move your feet, but you can twist your body by holding your right mouse click down and then moving your character accordingly. What I'm going to do is Fist of Fury first the skull target and only skull, then turn and hit only the X target. So then each one of them would both be stunned and whatnot. So let's go ahead and get the chi. I'm going to stand right about here. Skull being hit by it, turn, X was hit by it. As you saw, there was a 100k crit on skull and then 100k on X. This is great for being able to split the damage and mainly just stun someone. Sometimes I will be hitting, okay, let's just say Priest Rogue and I'm playing Chamois Windwalker Monk. And we're doing pretty good and I'm hitting the Rogue and then I see the Priest is running over towards my Chamois to stun him. If I'm Fist of Furying the Rogue, it is never a bad idea to then stop aiming just on him, turn, hit the Priest to stun him, and then go back to the Rogue, because then as you saw, he was stunned and I was able to then stick on my main target still. So that's something that you're going to have to mess around with and get used to for your own playstyle, just turning and using it to your own benefit. So that is Fist of Fury. The next spell I'm going to talk about is Spinning Crane Kick. Spinning Crane Kick is 40 energy channeled spell where you spin while kicking in the air, dealing 9,000 to 14,000 damage to all enemies every 0.68 seconds within 8 yards. Movement speed is reduced by 30%, generates 1 chi if it hits at least 3 targets, and it lasts 2 seconds. During Spinning Crane Kick, you can continue to dodge and parry, so you're not completely vulnerable. This is a spell that I don't really just, oh, okay, arena match, go, and just start Spinning Crane Kick. I mainly use this when there's a lot of people in PvP because it does do the most damage AoE. Fist of Fury has a higher damage output, but when there are like 6 targets, it splits the damage so much it becomes like almost like it's not worth using it for the damage output. Spinning Crane Kick, on the other hand, does the same amount of damage per target. It doesn't split. However, I use this spell mainly to pop rogues, mages, feral druids, stuff out of stealth. The fact of the matter is, this is a pretty wide-ranged AoE. It's not as wide as as you see with the green circle, it's only this. It's not too big, but actually the damaging part of the spell will hit people that are far away. I'm going to show how close or how far away I can actually be from the skull target dummy and still hit it with Spinning Crane Kick. Right now I am hitting it. Let's see if I can move a little bit over. Right here, that is how far as I can be from the skull train dummy. Now see, look it's actually hitting past where the green ring is. So this does have a wide range, and you can easily be jumping around in arena, spinning crane kick, and then jump to another spot, spinning crane kick, and you could possibly pop someone out of stealth, and that could really change the tides of the match. So this is a spell that I just use mainly for little things here and there, but it is overall a good spell. Learn how to use it to your advantage, and it's definitely something that is nice to know how to use it and when to use it. The next spell I'm going to talk about that is both a defensive and offensive spell. I'm just going to highlight the offensive part of it is Touch of Karma. Touch of Karma is 20-yard range, instant cast, 1.5 minute cooldown. This is a 20-yard range because I'm using the glyph of Touch of Karma, which gives it 20-yard range. Other than that, it would just be melee range. But back on track. All damage you take is redirected to the enemy target as nature damage over 6 seconds instead of you. Damage cannot exceed your total health, lasts for 10 seconds. Now, obviously, as you read that is a great defensive spell, but the main thing that I'm highlighting right now is this can be used for offense too. A lot of teams, when I'm facing like a Warlock healer team, and I'm fully dotted, and even if I'm not necessarily low with it, I have so many other defensive cooldowns like Fortifying Brew and Diffuse Magic, sorry, I was drawing a blank on it, that I can use my Touch of Karma for extra damage. When I'm popping all my cooldowns and I'm fully dotted, I will Touch of Karma the target because the dots that were on me still ticking is now converting damage onto my current target. And you can pick this. If you're like, hey, say I'm hitting Skull, and I'm like, I'm getting just light damage into me, and I know I'll be okay, I could go ahead and say, all right, if we're going to hard switch to X, I could go ahead, Touch of Karma X, and then switch over. And as I'm taking damage from everybody still, that damage to me isn't going to do any damage. Instead, it's just going to do damage to the other guy. So that is a spell. That's the offensive outlook on it. The defensive I will talk about in the next vid. So that's just a quick coverage on Touch of Karma. The next one I'm going to talk about is Energizing Brew. Energizing Brew is an instant cast 1 minute cooldown that regenerates 60 energy over 6 seconds and can only be used while in combat. Pretty much in a nutshell, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a major energy regen. So one of the main things I like doing this or with this for crazy damage output is, say I want to build up 5 chi, do a Rising Sun kick into a Fist of Fury, then jab a couple times and then do 2 more Blackout kicks. I'll show you how this helps being able to spam more damage by using Energizing Brew. I know I'm at max chi, but I'm going to go ahead and jab a couple times to use up my energy. So let's go here, there, pop it, and as you see, I'm able to then spam 2 more. Now I messed up the rotation with doing the Rising Sun kick the Rising Sun kick second and canceling my Fist of Fury. But when you pop Energizing Brew, you're able to get a couple more jabs in, and if you're using your energy, it allows you to regain energy quick enough where then you're able to use the chi more. So you have a better inflow of chi and then outflow of damage. So that is a spell that is only on a 1 minute cooldown. It is smart to use this with your heavy cooldowns, your heavy offensive cooldowns, so you're able to do some crazy damage, as well as being really good to know when you have it up as well. Because the simple fact of the matter is it's such a short cooldown, you can use it more than once before you actually pop all your cooldowns. If I know, hey, in about a minute and a half I'm going to be popping all my cools, I could actually use it to then do some extra damage. So it's never a bad idea to do that, and then when the, your cooldowns roll up again, you could go ahead and pop them all and do some crazy amounts of damage. So that's quickly covering Energizing Brew. The next one for offensive spells is, I'm going to talk about Ring of Peace. I was looking for it. Ring of Peace, I've talked about in depth before with the talents. The main thing I want to talk about with offensive part of it is, against classes like Warlocks, Mages, when I am able to pop Ring of Peace and stick to the target, as in right on top of them, they cannot isolate me. They cannot die. They die, especially Warlocks. They really underestimate this. You do a Shadow Word Pain if you're a Shadow Priest, or a Curse or Corruption on a Warlock, and you're going to be silenced. If you're in my bubble, you're my bubble of death. If you actually cast any spell, you're going to be able to just stick to the target knowing there's silence on, and that is a huge advantage in Arena. So learn how to use that spell a lot. I'm loving it more and more and more. A lot of people are really skeptical with all the changes they kept doing to it, but me, I overall am loving this spell. Alright, the next spell I'm going to talk about, yeah, I want to talk about Spinning Fire Blossom. It's a 1 chi cost. It deals... That cannot be right. That says 842... No. Okay, I thought there was another 0. I thought I was reading out 842,000. No, what mine does is 842.5 fire damage to the target. If the Spinning Fire Blossom travels further than 10 yards, the damage is increased by 50%. This is a spell I use when people are kiting me or away from me and I have some chi to burn. What this would look like is right there. It just shoots over, and as you see, mine's hitting for 26k with the extra range. Now, if I'm near the target, it's going to do a little bit less. I'll show that right now. 15k, as you can see, and 27k crits. They did a big nerf to this spell because it was doing a lot of damage, but the simple fact of the matter is it's still good to use when people have range on you and you're getting kited, just to use up your chi, because as you're getting kited, you're most likely gaining energy then again too, so you can then run right in, jab a couple times, and do some damage. And this does do damage, just like Crackling Jade Lightning. You know, it might not be a lot, but hey, 10,000 never hurt. So... yeah, that's roughly covering Spinning Fire Blossom. It's a 50-yard range as well, which is really far. So let's just see. I'm going to go ahead and build up some chi, hopefully. There we go. And 4. There we go. I got 5 chi. Okay. I'm a backpedal. I know. I could shoot that far away. Look at how far that is traveling. 50 yards. That is just crazy how far that goes. It does so much damage. So much damage. Oh, perfect. Perfect to do at so much damage that far away. That did 20k each, so like 100k. Bam. No problem. At range. You know, go ahead and kite me. I'll still do some damage to you. Not as much as Rising Sun Kick, but hey. A little bit of damage never hurt anyone. Well, technically speaking, yes, but at the end of the day, it doesn't hurt you to be able to do some damage from range. Alright guys, the next 2 spells I'm going to be talking about are kind of our bigger cooldown spells, or just require a little bit more in-depth look of them. Now, if you remember my talent, 90 talents, when I was going over that, I believe it was in part 1, I went ahead and talked about Invoke Zune the White Tiger in depth, so I'm just going to roughly cover it real quick. Zune the White Tiger is our biggest 3-minute cooldown. He does a lot of damage, and he scales directly off your damage. What I mean by that is, the more stacks of your Tiger Eye Brew that you have popped with it, trinkets and everything, the more his damage readout will be. So I'm going to go ahead and just build up some stacks. I'll probably only build up 5 right now, just so I can save us all some time. Let's go ahead. I know Fist of Fury will give me 1 stack. Alright. Okay, there you got the 5. Now, right now as you're reading, he does 69,000 damage. Or 60, almost 70,000. Now, when I pop my Tiger Eye Brew and my trinkets, I'm going to scroll over him and I'll show you what his damage readout will be. 132,000 damage. That is quite a bit. Now, watch, as I lose my buffs, his damage will go down. It's at 132. And if I scroll over again, 120. Alright, lose 1 more buff, 96. Lose another buff, 86. Lose another, back to 70,000. So he does do more damage up front when you pop all your cooldowns, but it slowly goes back down over time because you're losing your buffs as well. But hey, he looks awesome. He lasts 45 seconds, and in my mind, one of the coolest looking skins in the game. So if they ever made a mount out of him, I would be all over that. So that's Invoke Zune the White Tiger. The next one we'll talk about is Storm, Earth, and Fire. Now, this is a spell that I wish there was more, not necessarily coverage on it, but as I can tell right now, it is not worth using in PvP. It, if anything, is a damage loss. I don't know of any situation, roughly in my mind, where it'd be usable for you. It looks cool, but overall, you're only doing 60% of your damage, and so is he, but he only auto-attacks. He doesn't do any spells. Like, if I Rising Sun Kick, he's not Rising Sun Kick. If I Blackout Kick, he's not Blackout Kick. He's just attacking. So, it's just like he only auto-attacks. I don't know. I'm really not into the whole thing. It Fist of Furies, but that's about it. And it does half the damage. So, Fist of Fury is about the only spell it's useful on. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really look like it's a major damage increase. So, I don't know how this is going to work. Hopefully, over time, it'll change. And if it does, I'll make a vid explaining it. But as of right now, this is a spell that I do not use that much because of some fact of the matter. I haven't seen enough damage output for it to be useful. So that's roughly covering the cool, or the spells, guys, how they work and everything for offensive gameplay. I know there's some spells I may have left out that could be talked about offensive gameplay, but the fact of the matter is I'm saving them more for defensive play. So in part 4 of the series, you'll hear all that, and then by part 5, I will be showing how I use all the spells in depth and an overlook of PvP situations. So I'm going to cut it off right here, and then I'm going to talk about the rotation real quick, and let you guys know how that works. Alright guys, as I said before, I was going to be talking about the rotation, and right now I'm going to give you a quick overlook of it. There isn't really a set rotation for PvP because of the simple fact that there are so many unknowns that you cannot control. You cannot control every situation in PvP, you're not going to be on the target 100% of the time, and when it comes down to it, we kind of have a priority listing for our damage output. Roughly, in a nutshell, the 3 main things is keep up Tiger Palm at all times, meaning use Tiger Palm to keep up Tiger Power buff at all times, so that buff, and then keep Rising Sun Kick on cooldown. Those are the top 2. Now, realistically, you should want to keep Fist of Fury on cooldown because it does so much damage, but the simple fact of the matter is, I like to save this for opportune moments when I know I'm going to be able to hit one target or saving it for a CC, and that's something that comes about. Usually, you're going to keep up your Tiger Power, and then you're going to spam Rising Sun Kick and Blackout Kicks over and over and over, and then when the moment strikes for you to use a Fist of Fury, then you'll use a Fist of Fury. Like right now, I'm at 10 stacks of Tiger Eye Brew, so I'm going to want to pop everything and do it, some crazy amounts of damage. I'll do all my cooldowns in one. And now Fist of Fury for 150k each, it's just kablam, crazy amounts of damage. So yeah, I like to try and set it up more accordingly in that sense, but our rotation is mainly keep Rising Sun Kick on cooldown, keep your Tiger Palm up. I even had it right there, it fall off, but the simple fact of the matter is do your best to keep those on cooldown and that buff up. Those are the 2 main parts, and then use Fist of Fury as much as possible for damage or CC according to the situation. When you play more and more, you'll understand how you want to use it more to your benefit. I've noticed before, when a rogue will turn his back on me for just a second, I will start Fist of Furying because I know then I'm going to stun him, and then I'm going to be hitting him over and over and over, no problem. So it's stuff like that that you have to pay attention. With practice, you'll be able to keep it that much more like just second nature. So once again, keep up your Tiger Power buff like I do right there, Rising Sun Kick on cooldown, and then use Fist of Fury accordingly. That's just the rough rotation, guys, but of course, Chi Wave, I would like to say keep it on cooldown in PvP because of the heal. The fact of the matter is, though, if you're not already at full health, or whoever's near him, you might want to keep it just for a second or two, because if I know, okay, my partner's about to get hit, I'm not going to use my Chi Wave right then and there. I'll wait for him to, the people to switch targets and start hitting him, and then I will go ahead and put Chi Wave on him because of the simple fact of the matter is then it's giving both parts. It's doing damage and healing him as well. This is something you need to, practice with and mess around with. But overall, that's the rough outlook of the rotation. It's more of a priority listing, but that's the 3 main parts is Rising Sun Kick on cooldown, Tiger Power buff always up, and then Fist of Fury on cooldown according to the situation. So that's going to be covering the rotation part, and I'll see you in the next bit. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up this vid. If you did enjoy it, please like, fave, and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. And if there was something you felt I may have missed for offensive spells or had questions, please comment below and let me know. It would literally take me hours to cover every aspect about a Windwalker Monk and the offensive part, defensive, and everything. So I tried to cover it, the basics, and break it down to a little bit more in depth, but I know I probably missed a couple things here and there. So once again, just ask a question. I'll be sure to answer as soon as possible. Part 4, which is going to be defensive spells, cooldowns, and usage, will be uploaded in about 2 to 3 days of this vid, so be on the lookout for that one. And then Part 5 is actually going to be me putting all parts together. I'll hopefully get some clips where I can highlight, oh, see how I did this here, and this is what I was talking about in this vid, just so you see how they apply in real-time situations. It's easy for me to just babble in front of a target dummy when they're not able to fight back, so I just want to go ahead and give you guys a heads up on all that parts. And once again, this is Ravedge saying thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the BGs.